Good morning. Welcome to the SASSETA Annual General Meeting. I'm Juwaria Ahmed, and for my sins, I've been elected to be your Program Director today. We hope that you'll enjoy this Annual General Meeting from the comfort of your home or office. Please settle in and enjoy the event with us. Before we proceed, we would like to address the rules of engagement to ensure the smooth running of the virtual proceedings. Please note that during the proceedings, all attendees' audio links will be muted to allow the presenters to be heard clearly without any extraneous interference. The SASSETA Annual Report is available on the SASSETA website under Downloads. Should you want to follow the presentations by referencing the annual report, you can access it now by clicking on the link in the Zoom chat box. Otherwise, copy the link into your browser to download. All delegates are welcome to send in their written questions via the chat box found at the bottom of your Zoom window. We will endeavor to answer as many questions as possible during the virtual question and answer session and upload all answers to the SASSETA website after the session. Please start posting your questions now. Also, remember to state your name, your surname, and affiliation to SASSETA before you type your question. We will also upload the entire AGM video session to the SASSETA website for future review and for delegates that were unable to attend. Remember, you can see the links provided in the chat box to download the annual report PDFs as well as the AGM program of events. And now, it is my honor to introduce the chairperson of the board, Mr. Chris Mudau, who will officially welcome you to the 2020-2021 Annual General Meeting.
Thank you, Program Director, members of the Accounting Authority, honorable guests, SASSETA management and staff. For the first time since the dawn of democracy, the government declared a national state of disaster following the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. At this time, I would like to ask us to observe a moment of silence for our colleagues, loved ones, friends, and members of our community who succumbed to the COVID-19 pandemic. May their soul rest in peace. The entire period to which this report relates, 2020-2021 financial year, was affected by government regulations that limited normal economic and social activity. The skills development sector was not spared. To cushion employers against the impact of the regulations, the government determined a skills development levy payment holiday for a period of 4 months, 1 May 2020 to 31 August 2020. During this period, employers registered for the SDL were not required to declare and pay the SDL to the South African Revenue Service. For SDL institutions such as the SETAs, the SDL payment holiday meant lower revenue, and because this was not a deferment of payment, the lost revenue will not be recovered. It will take several years for most businesses to return to pre-COVID-19 levels. Thus, revenue to the SETAs will remain constrained. As a result of the measures taken by the government to fight the spread of the virus, the lost revenue, and the immediate and grave health concerns relating to the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, it became very difficult for SETA to deliver on its mandate. As the new accounting authority, whose tenure started on 1 April 2020, we were confronted with the challenge of helping to navigate the SETA through a unique set of strategic and operational challenges. During this whole volatile environment, we set our strategic direction, managed business continuity by directing and overseeing the management of compliance with measures taken by the government to fight the spread of the virus and the continuity of operational activity, strengthened our risk mitigation and disaster recovery plans, and ensured that the organization is ready, not just for the new normal, but for a better normal. Government has adopted the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, ERRP, which sets our practical interventions to be implemented to support efforts to improve competitiveness in the economy, build confidence, and improve economic performance. The Department of Higher Education and Training, DHET, has developed a skill strategy to support the ERP. To implement the skill strategy, the strategic focus of the SASSETA over the medium to long term is set out in our annual report, but our 4 key areas will be 2. 1. Strengthen collaboration with stakeholders to advance skills development within the safety and security sector. 2. Enhance risk intelligence to promote good governance and an ethical environment. 3. Improve the level of skills in the safety and security sector. 4. Create a sustainable and conducive environment for management and staff to execute the strategy. Notwithstanding the challenging environment, SASSETA has achieved 97% of its targets during the period under review, a 5% increase from the performance in the 1920-21 financial year. I would like to thank the members of the Accounting Authority, the executive management team, the staff, and SASSETA stakeholders for what they have done to improve performance, to weather the crisis, and to get our SASSETA prepared to cope with the new normal. Without their commitment, the results detailed in this report would not have been possible. A special thanks to the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation for the strategic support and guidance, and to the DHET senior officials and the SASSETA Chairpersons Forum for the role they play in ensuring a common approach to common challenges. As I conclude, I am proud and inspired by the way SASSETA and its stakeholders have risen to the challenge. You have shown flexibility, resilience, and agility and courage. It is my pleasure to declare the 2020-21 SASSETA AGM officially open. I now wish to introduce SASSETA's Chief Executive Officer, who has now had a full year leading the organization. You cannot see his gray hairs yet, but we are working very hard to meet that goal. Mr. Thamsanqa Mdonswa, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chairperson, Program Director, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, organized labor, members of the media, stakeholders far and wide, and SASSETA employees. Welcome to the SASSETA Annual General Meeting. Last year, I was the newbie on the block, having joined shortly before year end. This year, I had my head firmly on the block, and if the chairperson says I will start counting my gray hairs, I take him very seriously. Noted, Chairperson. The executive management team members will detail our performance in their presentations, but right now, it gives me great pleasure to provide a very short overview of the achievements and challenges of this great organization. The focus of the SASSETA management team has been to ensure continuity of services to fulfill the expectations of our oversight bodies and stakeholders, while ensuring a safe and compliant working environment in the COVID-19 environment. The team is reassessing assumptions about resilience of the organization's business model and its readiness to operate in the changing work norms and new technologies. SASSETA has continued to fulfill its mandate and implement its objectives under the unprecedented economic and operational conditions, thanks to the continued diligence and hard work of our staff and stakeholders. The hard work has paid dividends, as the annual report will evidence. I'm proud to report that the SASSETA achieved a clean audit outcome and met 97% of its targets. This is a performance increase of 5% over the previous financial year and a wonderful achievement for the board, the management team, and staff. At the same time, we also maintained our level 5 risk maturity, as we have done for the past 3 years. I would like to introduce you to the SASSETA executive management team who made this possible. Mr. Vugani Memela, the executive manager, research, skills planning, monitoring, and evaluation, who has led SASSETA's insight into the skills sector needs. Ms. Sibongile Ngwenya, the Executive Manager, Corporate Services, who leads ICT, HR, Auxiliary Services, and Marketing and Communications during these turbulent times of COVID-19, and who spearheads our continuous migration to the digital space. Mr. Ikalafeng Diale, the Chief Financial Officer, whose tireless leadership has kept SASSETA on the path of financial and compliance excellence. And lastly, Ms. Joeria Emot, Executive Manager, Learning Programs, who heads up the engine that drives SASSETA to meet its skills development objectives. I'm proud to be a part of this excellent progressive team. On operational achievements, SASSETA implemented several key initiatives during the past COVID year that not only assisted learners and companies, but also boosted our internal morale. Small and medium enterprises are an essential part of South Africa's economy and are at the highest risk during the COVID-19 pandemic. SASSETA recognized the plight of the SME sector during the COVID-19 pandemic and embarked on PPE relief program to 100 small and medium entities. This program is ongoing. The ICT strategy has been approved by the board that will lead us into the automation and digitization of our processes to allow us to operate fully in another national crisis. In support of the ERRP strategy, SASSETA prioritized the implementation of the following learning programs. For traffic officer learnership, 722 learners were placed. For paralegal learnerships, 195 learners were placed, and for candidacy, 652 candidate attorneys and pupil advocates were placed. In addition, SASSETA has awarded 15 million to University South Africa and 3 million to the University of the Witwatersrand to assist the funding of students who are studying in fields that are relevant to SASSETA in terms of the occupations listed in the ERRP and SASSETA scarce occupations. Examples of these are ICT Systems Analyst, ICT Security Specialist, and Computer Network and System Engineers, attorneys, trademark attorneys, and paralegals. We have approval to provide laptops and data to bursary recipients to help them connect to learning portals. SASSETA will continue to find ways in which to ease the plight of learners and small business and to investigate how we can build the community we serve. From an operational and governance perspective, SASSETA continued to implement rigorous compliance and governance processes and systems, not only to enhance compliance with legislation, but also to prevent any possible irregularities. These interventions have paid dividends in SASSETA's achievement of a risk maturity level 5 for the past consecutive years. In promoting the growth of the public TVET colleges, SASSETA facilitated key partnerships between the sector and professional bodies and employers, and 7 public TVET colleges. Through these partnerships, SASSETA was able to facilitate the implementation of key artisan learning programs and the placement of TVET students in work environment, and so to empower them to acquire practical skills. The organization initiated numerous skills programs targeting mainly youth in rural areas of our country. These are implemented as part of the SASSETA special projects to address the government's agenda on skills development and employability of South African youth. A number of stakeholders participated in the recent satisfaction survey. I want to thank you for your honesty in reporting on the good and bad of SASSETA. Your comment has been noted with the respect it deserves, and focus groups on aspects of common concern will be held in the next couple of months. These are my highlights of the year, but Mr. Memela and Mr. Diale will detail the operational and financial performance during their presentations. Now, you may recall last year's AGM when we lamented the unqualified audit outcome. We explained the reasons for the outcome. We promised to come back from that, and we did. SASSETA has achieved a clean audit outcome for the past financial year, and we are all understandably very proud. For making this achievement possible, I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to SASSETA Chairperson and the Accounting Authority for their continued support, guidance, and strategic leadership that led us to achieve our mandate. To the Audit and Risk Committee and its subcommittees, the Department of Higher Education and Training, National Treasury, and the Auditor General, we thank you for your continued support. On behalf of the entire SASSETA team, I want to thank our clients and partners for continuing to place their trust in us, enabling our successful collaborations on every platform. SASSETA will remain steadfast in its commitment to work harder and to serve our clients with compassion, dignity, and respect. In presenting an overview of the organization, I want to acknowledge the work and dedication of the SASSETA Executive Management Team in making this financial year successful. And to the SASSETA employees, I extend my heartfelt thanks and admiration for their unwavering commitment, hard work, and for the tremendous flexibility they have shown in coping and excelling in often trying circumstances. Together, we have ensured that SASSETA can look back on a very good performance year and that we are able to emerge from our challenging environment stronger than ever. Thank you, colleagues. Enjoy the SASSETA AGM.
Thank you, Mr. Mdonswa, for your overview of what was a very busy and eventful year.